job. These are the two parameters. So this is called as of film density and this is called as subject density. There are two parts because what happens is you have this object, right? It has a very good step over here. But if I say the object is not very much clear like step, it has a very gradual taper. It has a gradual taper. Instead of this step, say it has a taper like this. Then what will happen? Your film will show a gradient. Very slow and slow there will be not, there won't be a separating line that you are seeing over here. This is the separating line where you can say that this is dark, this is light. But in this case, there won't be this separating line. The reason is this thing is gradual. So this part will be dark, this part will be light, but then it will be going gradually since this is gradually. So the geometry of subject, subject means test object, gives effect on the radiograph contrast. This is what we have to understand for this. Right? So next is radiographic definition. What do you understand by definition? Yesterday we have done this. So just trying to get along. What do you understand by definition? We have done this yesterday. Can you please elaborate? What do you understand by definition?
Yeah, this radiation is going to surface of the piece, and then backside of the piece we have film. This
Hmm.
radiation is lastly going on to this film. We
Hmm.
are seeing the
Hmm.
porosity or lack
No,
of
no,
vision,
no. Just
like
I'm
this.
asking what is a definition? A definition. I'm not asking radiographic definition. You don't confuse with the definition of radiography. This what you are saying is definition of radiography. But here the word definition means something else. What we are talking of as a definition is not the definition that we give for any different object or material or the engineering definition. Here definition means whatever image you are able to see on a radiograph, say you are able to have this as your radiograph and something small is visible over here and we have another radiograph where we are getting a clear picture. So this is called as poor definition, this is called as high definition. Here the meaning of definition is your screen definition means clarity of the object or shape that is visible on the radiograph. That is called as radiographic definition and not, it is not about the definition of radiography. Okay,
Okay.
are you getting?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is the difference. So definition again comes from what? Definition is dependent on what? On the type of radiograph as well as the type of defect or geometry present in the job. For example, I'll draw a job over here. Say this is the type of hole in it. There is a hole in it and we are taking radiography, right? So we will have a radiograph that will show the clear rounded image which will be dark because this area is not carrying any material. This is material free area. Here you have material. This is the material, right?
Yes.
So here you don't have material. So material free area will be dark over here. Now
Yes.
this is called definition. If this round is clearly indicated as round, then it is good definition. For example, if you have another radiograph, another type of film or system, and you are not getting the exact ground, you are getting something like this blur, then this is called as poor definition. What? Poor definition.
Okay.
Okay, this is
In this, now I understand.
understood? Okay, fine. So this concept should be clear. When somebody asks you what is definition in radiography film, radiographic film, you should give this answer, not the
Okay.
definition of radiography, right? Now density we have already done, and the formula for density is known to us. What is the formula for density? Density is equal to log I O log I divided by IO. This is reverse I have written. Incident divided by transmitted. If I0 is the incident and IT is the transmitted, then we have incident divided by transmitted, that is the density. So this is a table that shows you how density varies with the percentage transmittance. This is transmittance, that is I0 incident divided by what we get out, that is transmittance. So inverse of transmittance is 1 to 10,000. What is transmittance? Amount of light that gets transmitted from one end to another end. So this is the barrier and this is incident light. Then what comes out over here, whether it comes out as 10%, 100%, 1%, 0.01%, or so on. So that is what we call it as it should be between 2 to 4. This is what we have done yesterday.
Yes. Between 2 and 4.
Yes,
Yes.
density should be between 2 and 4. Now, one more concept is that there is always scattering. What is scattering? What is the difference? What is scattering? It is the uncontrolled reflection. Is called as scattering. Uncontrolled reflection. Scattering means
Uncontrolled reflection.
uncontrolled reflections. These are called as scattering. That means these are losses. We don't have any control over it. So scattering is, this is your source, this is the job, and this is film. So scattering is at three areas. One, when the radiation will strike over here, it goes ahead. We say that it goes ahead, but there can be some scattering from this phase. There can be some scattering from this phase. Also, when it strikes the film, it doesn't stop over there. This is the base or ground. It strikes ground also. If it can pass through this job, it can also pass through the film. So it will go to out of the film, touch the ground, and again come back. So this is called as backscatter. Understood what is backscatter?
Yes.
Okay. So this is backscatter, and backscatter is very dangerous. Dangerous means it. I'll explain only backscatter because there were many scatters. It was not too good. Say this is the film, and here we have ground. It is placed on ground. So what happens is radiation exposes the film. It doesn't stop over here. It again goes back, and from this point also it gets back. It gets back. So this blue line is called as backscatter. Okay. And what does backscatter do? It blurs the image. Blurs the eye image on radiograph, because same point gets exposed two times, so nearby points. So then if we wanted to have this as our image point, now we will get 1, 2 and 3 different points. So when we see this image on radiograph, we should get it something like this. Instead of that, we are getting a blur image with outer and inner circle. Actually, the dotted point inside is our exact image. So we are getting this big image, which is a blur element overall. And so we will not get proper image of discontinuity. That is why backscatter is not allowed. Backscatter is not allowed. It should be avoided. Now, how should we avoid backscatter? We don't have any control over backscatter because radiations are giving us backscatter. So if we don't have any control over radiation, how do we control the backscatter? So what system does is this. This is your job. Here we put the film, and beneath the film we put a letter B. We put a letter B, lead letter B. So when there is a backscatter, radiation will go and again it will come back. When there is a backscatter, this B will be available on the screen, on the film. That means if B is visible, then backscatter is present. So backscatter should not be there. B should not be visible. If B is visible, then backscatter is there or backscatter is present. If B is not visible, backscatter is absent. So generally what people do is they don't put B. Radiographers play with this. They don't put B, so B will not be visible. And we say that if B is not visible, there is no backscatter. So this is what people play with. Okay.
Okay.
So any identification is there to recognize that like they have played or not? I mean, any guess like how to do?
We know there should be a very, it is said that we can identify no image. This B should be very blur. Actually, B, if B is dark, there is very high backscatter, and this B should be very blur. It should be visible slightly, very blur it should be. So if it is very blur, we say that backscatter is very less, and that is fine. But wherever you go, and if we see that there is no visibility of B, then it is our own experience and judgment that we can say you have not used backscatter B itself. Okay, because if something is present, it will be visible very faint, because little bit of backscatter is always present. We cannot eliminate backscatter. Some or the other, the quantity of backscatter should be limited, very less. That means if little bit backscatter is present, still you will get a very blur image of, that is very faint or light image of B. And if you are not getting image of B, that is one of the condition that he has not used B. But then it is difficult to prove, because he will stick to his words saying that I had used, but since there was no backscatter, B is not visible.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We have discussed radiographic contrast and subject contrast. Radiographic contrast is due to the film. And what are the different types of films? Yesterday we had drawn 1 inch by 1 inch 3 films, wherein in one film we had large crystals of AGBR, in another film we had smaller crystals of AGBR, and in third crystal we had very small crystals of AGBR. So this film is called as slow film, this is medium or moderate, and this is called as fast film. So if you have fast film, you get very good contrast. Good contrast. And here you get poor contrast. Correct? So here you get a combination of good contrast and good sensitivity. Whether this pen is visible or should I change the color?
No, visible for me.
Because I got this tab pad, writing pad today, so I'm trying to use it. Okay. Again, source is also responsible for contrast. Source is also responsible for contrast. And what is that? If you have a low KEV, that is low energy source, you get better contrast. If you have very high energy, you get poor contrast. 4 to 1 means the contrast is having a range of 3 in this case, and here 2 to 1 means a contrast is having a range of only 1 density change throughout. So here you will get very good change in the shades of gray. There will be, if we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different grades we can identify. Here you will be able to identify only 1, 2 and 3, because it will be dark, medium and white. Here dark, still less dark and so on, so you will get more clarity. We have seen this film contrast and so on. Okay. We'll take one example. Although you, as a radiographic film interpretation person, you won't be required to do this thing, but still for part of understanding, we will have it. Okay. Suppose we have, this is called as LRE. Okay. And this is the density. On y-axis we have density, right? Okay. Say density is 4 over here, 1 over here, 2 and 3. This is 3, this is 2. And meaning of LRE is log relative exposure. Log relative exposure. Okay. So log relative exposure means what? Just we have to take the anti-log of this number to get the, suppose this is 1. We have this as 1. In next slide we can see this. I'll zoom it out. Now I hope you are getting the things. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So try to see this image. It is 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 and 3. This is log scale. Okay. What is the log of 10? We have seen density, na? So log of 10 is
1.
1. Log of 100 is 2.
2.
And log
Yes.
of 1000 is 3. So this is the, when you convert these numbers by taking anti-log, you will get the time scale. When we convert this into anti-log, we will get time scale. And this is density. It is also a log of something. So both are log elements. We want this density. For example, we are giving an exposure of some number. I'll go back. So we are giving just wait. I'll maximize this picture. For 2 minutes, I'm stopping the presentation. Okay, I've just maximized the image so that we can play with it directly over here. You see what it says? We had used some exposure time of, we don't know what was that number, and we received a density of say zero point 0.5 or so, right? If we increase this, we will get a different density. If we decrease the exposure, we get a different density, right?
So it didn't appears now.
Okay, it is appearing.
No.
Okay, now we had an, I'm taking an example, assumed value, say T1, that is exposure time, was say 20 minutes. That means we say that we had a 20-minute exposure and we got a value of say 1.8 as density. When we had given an exposure to some object, film was developed and we got a density of 1.8 on the film, right? Now I want that this density which is 1.8, I want to increase this density. This is 1. I want to increase this density to say 2.5 or 2.8. This is 2.5, this is 2.75 maybe. Okay, I want to make it 2.75. This point is 2.75. So what we should do to increase the density on the screen? So manufacturers of radiographic films provide such characteristic curve of the film graph that if you give so much of exposure you will get this density, if you give so much of exposure you will get this density. So what we do is, we first of all trial and error. Whenever these radiographers do it for first time or second time, they do it with trial and error and you get a density of 1.8. So what is this? T1 time is 20 minutes, D1 is 1.8, and what we want is 2.75 density. So what we should do? We should simply make a coordinate intersecting this line and then drop it down to this point and we will get sum of the value. Okay, so what is this value? We call it, this is 2.5, say suppose this is 2.62 or 63. So what is the difference in density? D2 minus D1 is equal to 2.75 minus 1.8 or 1.75, if you take whatever we want. If we take 1.75, we will get directly the number 1, or say we are taking 1.8. So this number becomes 0.95. This is the difference in density between these two. Is it okay?
Yes.
Huh? What is the time difference? Say time. T1 in LRE1, we call this LRE, we don't take this as time. This was first time we had taken 20 minutes, and then for 20 minutes, that means for 1.8, we when we plot a axis on this and intersect, we take it over here, so we are getting this value as 2.3. Okay, this may be 2.3. So this is called as LRE1, log relative exposure of 2.3 for density D1. What we need is, we want a density of D2, that is 2.75. This was 1.8. That means we want to increase the density from 1.8 to 2.75. So what we have to find, we should find what should be LRE2. From here, if we see, we are getting some value of LRE2. So what is this value of LRE2? We call it, so this value is 2.65 or 2.6. Okay, so then we have to subtract this LRE2 minus LRE1. This value will be, what is this value? 0.35. When you take NT log of this, check in your calculator, in mobile or in laptop or computer you are using, you can have NT log of 0.31, log to the base 10, that is shift log 0.23. 0.23, you make it shift log. This value will be 1.69. Did you get it?
Okay.
What we have to do
Okay.
is shift log. We have to write 0.23 and then shift log. So what is this value? For this NT log, we are getting it as, over here I'll write 1.69. So what is this 1.69 now? Try to understand. What is this 1.69? This 1.69 is the new time T2 will be equal to 1.69 multiplied by T1. Okay, new time T2 will be equal to 1.69 multiplied by T1. So if you take 1.69 into 20, whatever is this time, if you give an exposure of this time, you are probably going to get a density of 2.7 on the radiographic film. So these graphs help us to decide a change in exposure time based on the quality and characteristic of the radiographic film. Did you understand this?
Yes, yes.
These calculations will not be required anywhere or are expected from you anytime, but you are getting the screen, or presentation has stopped?
Stop now.
Stop na? Again. Now I hope you are getting presentation. Okay. Now you will get it. Okay. You got
Yeah.
it?
Now it's okay.
Right. So this is what is important for you to know, at least, that how LRE values and exposure times are related, and you can calculate the new exposure time from the characteristic curve of the radiographic film. Yesterday we have seen UG, that is unsharpness. This diagram was discussed yesterday, and what is UG was also discussed yesterday. Okay,
Yes.
right. So again, this is film characteristic curve. There are red, blue, and black lines which are representing slow, fast, and medium films. This is what we have done. We have solved this problem right now. So again, same thing is there. Okay. Now just look at these points. I'll discuss these points, and these are important because these points. Now, exposure or radiographic film, you don't read this exposure, you just read these elements. All these points, spectrum of radiation produced by X-ray generator, voltage potential used for X-ray generator, ampere used for by X-rays, milliampere, exposure time, distance between radiation source and film, material of the component being radiographed, thickness of the material that the radiation must travel through, the amount of scattered radiation reaching the film being used, the use of LED screens or fluorescent screens, the concentration of film processing chemicals, and contact time. These are the parameters or factors which are affecting the image formed on the radiograph. So these many factors are affecting. Now where do you have control? We have control for this, we have control for this, we have control for this, we can control this, we can control the distance between source and film, material of the component, it is fixed, we don't have control. Thickness of the material, don't have any control. Amount of scattered radiation, don't have any control. Film, yes, we have control. Use of LED screen or fluorescent screen, that is phosphor screen, we are using or not, we have control. And concentration. So almost 4 to 5 factors are such that we cannot control those factors. And these factors plus the variation in controllable factors decides the image quality on the film. So how do we ascertain that whatever we are seeing is of good quality or bad quality? Okay, so whatever we are seeing is of good quality or bad quality, and what is the quality of the radiograph and the defect that is being observed on the radiograph. So now we will go to this part, IQI, in the next part, and viewing radiograph. This is a only 2 page in this book, but I will discuss this in around 5 to 6 or 10 slides, because this is most important part when you are having a radiographic film interpretation as a part. Okay, before going to discuss IQI, we will have one more thing, and that is, I'll quickly go to that point. Yes, radiation safety. So what is the amount of risk that a person must take while doing radiation testing or radiography testing? So what is the amount of risk? The risk should be a safe risk. We call it as a safe risk. Although it is risky, but we have to take that risk, and that risk should be always within a safe limit. Okay. So when we are having testing, following factors, the occurrence of particular health due to the exposure, the occurrence of particular effects from the exposure to ionizing radiation is complicated function of numerous factors, including, so these are the factors that are responsible for hazard or high or low hazard, or we call safety or unsafe working conditions. Type of radiation involved. All kinds of ionizing radiations can produce health effects. The main difference in the ability of alpha and beta particle and gamma and the X-rays to cause health effect is the amount of energy they have. Their energy determines how far they can penetrate into the tissue and how much energy they are able to transmit directly or indirectly into the tissues. Because alpha cannot penetrate the first skin layer, we are happy. Beta can penetrate up to 1 or 2 mm of skin layers, but then again its energy reduces and it doesn't get transmitted. So still we are happy. But gamma and X-rays are having zero weight, they are weightless, they are very high energy sources, and also they are having frequency and low wavelength. Therefore they can penetrate into and also transmit the energy to tissues, and this causes ionization of the cells of the body at a very lower level, that means at the atomic level. Okay. Size of dose received: the higher the dose of radiation received, the higher likelihood of health effect, that is higher the risk. It is very simple. They are saying higher, but it is very simple. Higher the radiation dose, higher is the risk of getting affected in the form of one or the other disease. And mainly the disease that we are talking is cancerous cells, development of cancerous cells, or we call it in medical language mutant cells, mutation. Rate at which the dose is received. Rate at which dose is received means what is the Röntgen value of the radiation. If it is 10 Röntgen, if it is 1 Röntgen or so. The tissues can receive larger doses over a period of time if the dose occurs over a number of days or weeks. The results are often not as serious if a similar dose is received in matter of minutes. That means if we have a 1 Röntgen dose in 1 week, through and then after that the frequency is 1 week is no dose, again 1 week 1 Röntgen dose, the effect will be different than every day we are taking 1 Röntgen dose. Okay, so you will have, this is called as frequency or rate at which you are taking or receiving the dose. Part of the body exposed, again this is also very important. Human body parts have different effects from the radiation when same amount of radiation is received by different body parts, different organs. So different organs have different susceptibility of getting affected. The age of the individual, a person's age is also a matter, that how much he will be affected and what will be the disaster or the risk that is with the exposure. So how many points? Type of radiation involved. What are the two types of radiation we are talking of? Gamma and X-ray. Other is story. Only remember gamma and X-ray. Size of dose received. That is what is the amount Röntgen value that you are receiving and for how long. What is the time that you are receiving it continuously. Rate at which the dose is received. Same dose you are receiving repetitively. That is rate, and if you are receiving it every day you will have different effect. If you are receiving it intermittently week along week, it will have a different effect. Part of the body being exposed: head will react differently to the radiation, heart will have different effect of radiation. That means different body organs are affected differently by the same amount of radiation. And whether a person working is having a 18 years and below or above 18 years. Basically, we can classify this into two groups: children and major. Okay. Again, one more: biological differences. Some individuals are more sensitive to radiation than others. This happens because human body reacts differently. So some people may have better resistance and better immunity to this radiation, whereas others may have less immunity, like virus we have. Sources of high energy radiation. You see, what do you understand from this pie chart? This is the pie chart. Say if we are
Atoms.
getting whatever radiation throughout the year, then 54% radiations we are getting randomly. That means unknown sources. We are not aware. These are from environment, cosmic. Then nuclear medicines. If you are taking nuclear medicines, 4% of the your if you are going for X-ray testing in these things, and also CT scan is a part of X-ray testing or a modified X-ray testing, and internally and terrestrial. We don't have control. We have control over these two. And this random means we may have approached or we may have been in some radiation zone unknowingly. That is this 55 4%. Now, what are the units for biological effect of radiation? There are two units, RAD, that is radiation absorbed dose, and the smaller unit is SI unit is called as Gray, GRAY or GY. Okay. One more radiation exposure unit that is used is REM, radiation equivalent or Roentgen equivalent in men, 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 REM. RAD, REM and Gray are the three units. 1 Gray is equal to 100 rad. So whether Gray is larger unit or rad is a larger unit?
Larger unit K.
Smaller is larger unit is
GA.
1 rad
G1.
equal to how many Gray?
0.0.
Yes, correct. Just have a look at this equivalent doses. X-ray RAD quality factor means what we have seen for alpha and beta particles. This is beta particle, this is alpha particle, and this is X-ray and gamma ray. So what is the quality factor? Almost 20 times more than X-rays and gamma rays. But the better part is it cannot penetrate human skin, right? So X-rays will give 1 rad of X-ray will give 1 rem. Gamma 1 rad will give 1 rem. Radiation equivalent men is the unit. That is the effect of radiation in men is called as REM, radiation equivalent men. Okay, dose equivalent. The dose equivalent rates that absorb the rate relates the absorbed dose to the biological effect of that dose. The absorbed dose of a specific type of radiation is multiplied by quality factor to arrive the dose equivalent. In SI unit, REM is given by Sievert, but the Roentgen equivalent in men is commonly used, and 1 sievert is equal to 100 rem. The table will show you how to convert or calculate rem. Rad and rem for X-ray and gamma ray are same. This is what you must remember.
In one day, how much sievert is acceptable?
Next slide I will discuss that. We have last slide for that. It is not one day, it is for complete year.
Year.
Calculations are for year. Throughout the year you should not have more than this. Okay, and then you have to divide it into the working days. Now, how do we control the radiation? And dose rate. Okay, one more thing, dose rate. The dose rate is a measure of how fast a radiation dose is being received. Dose rate is usually presented in terms of milliroentgen per hour, millirem per hour, rad that is radiation absorbed dose per minute, or milligray per second, etc. Because it is related to time, therefore all the radiation doses are in terms of divided by time or per time, either in hour, minute or second. Knowing the dose rate allows the dose to be calculated for a period of time, right? So controlling exposure. Now how can we control exposure? There are 3 points: time, distance and shielding. Okay, time should be minimum. Time should be minimum. Distance should be maximum. Shielding should be maximum. Okay, so this is TDS. If we say time, distance, shielding, time should be minimum, distance should be maximum, and shielding should be maximum. Reason is, as the distance increases, the radiation energy or intensity decreases. That is what we have seen through the equation. I1 D1 square is equal to I2 D2 square. Then shielding, if we increase shielding, the radiation coming out from the shielded matter will be less. This we have seen from the equation I is equal to I0 e raised to minus mu x. And we know the half value layer of different materials. So what the three basic ways of controlling exposure to harmful radiations are: limiting the time spent near the source of radiation, increasing the distance away from the source, and using shielding to stop or reduce the level of radiation. These are the three simple steps that we must take. So time, how does dose rate and time are related? The radiation dose is directly proportional to the time spent in the radiation. Therefore, a person should not stay near the source of radiation for longer than necessary time. If a survey meter, that is a meter that measures the radiation, is called a survey meter, reads 4 millirem per hour. Survey meter reads 4 millirem per hour. It is a meter like sound meter and other things we are using. Vibration, sound and other things we measure, and we have some metering method. So there is a radiation measurement device that is called as survey meter. When we hold this survey meter in the air in area where radiation testing is being done, then it shows an indication, and it is showing an indication of, for example, say 4 milliradian per hour at a particular location at some distance from the radiation source. A total dose of 4 milliradian will be received if a person remains at that location for 1 hour. But then we say that the received dose can be calculated. Dose, how much dose a human being has received can be calculated. So if he remains present for 1 hour, he is going to get 4 milliradian. But if he moves away from there in 15 minutes, what is the dose he has received? 4 into 1 by 4, or 4 into 15 divided by 60 minutes. Dose rate will become his dose rate, milliradian minute, when we calculate it. When using gamma camera, it is important to get the source from the shielded camera to the collimator. A device that shields radiation in some direction but allows to pass in other direction is used. As quickly possible, this quickly limits the time of exposure to the unshielded source. Now, what does this say? What is the meaning of this statement? I will try to explain with a small diagram. Say we have gamma radiation camera. Here we are going to have testing. So this is the place, or this is collimeter, and the source comes to this position for getting radiography. This is the film. So some device is used which shields the radiation. What is the required direction of radiation? This is the required direction. We want radiation to be in this direction. So we don't want radiation to go in other direction and affect people. So what we do is we put some protective shielding element over here, so that all the radiation in non-required direction will be blocked, and only in required direction radiations will be there. So this will help us reduce the perimeter of shielding distance. Say if this was not there, we would require a 10-meter of safe distance. Then when we put the such shielding material over here, this distance may reduce to 5 meters. Okay, so this is one method to have. We have lost the presentation again. Distance given by I1 D1, I1 D1 square is equal to I2 D2 square, or if somebody uses I1 divided by I2 is equal to D2 square divided by D1 square. Whatever is suitable and you can remember it properly, you may remember it. Shielding, there should be some signboards so that people are being made aware. Now coming to exposure limits. It says ALRA, that is as low as reasonably achievable. What is the amount of radiation that you must take? On a conservative assumption, it says that as low as reasonably achievable, as low as possible is better. ALRA requirements of current radiation safety practices, it means that a reasonably less and reasonable efforts must be made to keep the worker in a safe limit of dose. In general, most international radiation safety codes specify that the dose rate must not exceed 2 milliroentgen per hour in any unrestricted area. Unrestricted area is where we don't put the sign of radioactivity, or we put a sign barrier that area beyond this is safe. Okay, where you have radiation site, radiography site, in out of that room or somewhere some pole would be made, and they will put a banner, radioactivity, don't come in this area, right? So the area that you are not allowed to go, you are just out of that area, there the safe limit is 2 milliroentgen per hour, not more than this. Okay, now coming to regulatory limits. Since body parts are affected differently, so different body parts have different limits. Overall, we cannot say that complete. So total effective dose equivalent whole body is 5 rem. That is 5 radiation equivalent of men. Okay. The more limiting of a total effective dose equivalent is 5 rem, that is 0.05 sievert, or the sum of the deep dose equivalent to any individual organ or tissue other than length of eye being equal to 50 rem. This is what deep dose means. Shallow dose is your skin and deep dose is your body inner side, inside. Okay, eyes are limited to 15 rem. Shallow dose equivalent whole body skin 50 rem. Total organ dose equivalent any organ 50 rem, not more than this. So this is your maximum limit that one should take. The annual limit for length of the eye to the skin and the extremities which are lengths 15, 50, and these are what limits? Per year. These limits are per year, not in one day. People take this in few months itself. The radiographers, they play with their own health to earn money. That is, they keep on doing radiography without putting the badge or without taking a radiography detection pain or radiation detection pain.
So if this limit is exceeded, so they
Mm.
have to stop the work for certain time.
Actually, just in next slide, we will come with a radiation detection device that is called as thermoluminescent batch, TLD batch. Now, it is mandatory to wear this badge or a radiation detection pane when we are in the radiation zone. So that what happens is whatever radiation our body gets is noted or detected by this, is received by this batch also or pane also. And when we go back in laboratory, we just have to insert this batch in the card reader so that it will immediately display what is the amount of radiation that this batch has. We consider that the amount of radiation this batch has taken is same as what we have taken because it was in our pocket. Okay, and if it exceeds the limit, then we should not go into the radiation area for next 15 days or month or so as per standards. But what these radiographers do is they have a limited batch and this batch is sealed. They cannot measure the batch value on their own. So at every interval of time, say 6 months or 4 months, they have to send this batch to the regulatory body, BARC in India, that is Baba Atomic Research Center in India. This is for Indian people. Every country has their own regulatory body, and this batch should be sent to them. They will put it in the reader box, and immediately they will come to know that how much radiation this guy has taken in last 3 months. Ideally, it is required that you should not exceed 50 rem in 1 year. But people don't follow this. They do radiography without taking this badge. They keep the badge in car and they do radiography activities because if this batch is filled up, that means it overflows the allowed limit, then immediately the BARC people or the regulatory people will ask this person, you should not work for 3 months or 6 months. And then if he is not working for 3 to 6 months, he is not going to be paid by his company. Actually, they should pay, but people don't pay to the person who are quarantined. Same way, this client or your owner will not pay the person if he is not working. Right? So, what are the effects that you get when you are getting this radiation? Below 18 years, you should get only 10% of radiation that is allowed for major people or adults. For adults, it is 50 ram, 50 milliram. For children, it will be 5 milliram only. You cannot do more. So it is not advisable that we should have CT scan or X-ray testing of small children frequently. The reason is these X-rays are same that we are using for industrial X-ray. Only thing, medical X-rays work at 80 to 150 kilovolt of energy, and industrial X-ray works at a energy of 200 to 500 kilovolt. What will happen if we take what amount of dose? 0 to 25, no injury evident. First detectable blood change takes place at 5 rem. 25 to 50 rem, Definite blood change at 25 m, no serious injury. No, this means up to 50, you are unable to understand whether, or you are unable to detect any change in your body in the form of irritation, in the form of nausea, in the form of weight loss, weight gain, or anything. You are happy, like the things are today in world, because we don't know whether we have been infected or not, or slightly or 100% or what. So after 50 to 100, some injury is possible, and this injury is in the blood. This injury is again not visible. This injury, the meaning of injury is in blood cells, the changes start. 100 to 200 millirem injury and possible disability means your blood will start issuing signals or giving you the signals of some problem in your body, and those signals may be nausea, maybe oversleep, maybe uneasiness at work, maybe some type of pain in some of the body organs, or XYZ. These are few that visible. Somebody may feel like nausea and he may keep on getting very disturbed. Some people may get sleepy or laziness.
Yes.
Some people may get weight loss or weight gain if this is being done constantly. 200 to 400 rem, it is, the injury is major within the body. You may get some disability attacks like your paralysis or something, or brain attacks, brain strokes, and death is possible. 400 to 500, it is called as maiden lethal dose. If this dose is taken, definite you are going to have a serious problem, and it will be immediate. It will not take any more time. 500 to 1000, definite death. Over 1000, again you are going to have very deadly effect and you may not survive. The delayed effect of radiation may be due either to the single large overexposure or continuing low exposure every day. If you are taking 5 rem every day for a month, your total exposure will become 150 and you are at this level of risk. That means when people are going and working in radiation areas, they should take care that it should be 1 week on, 1 week off, or alternate day, or so whatever is the situation and condition in the company. Okay?
Okay.
The may be effects
So,
may be, yeah,
sorry. For example, for
no
the
audio,
5 RAM
yeah,
in one day, for example, our radiographer
uh,
taking two, three shoots,
yeah.
how many he will be
That
loading?
depends on the survey meter reading. If he
For the
takes
5,
15 shoots, there is no issue, but then he should wear the TLD badge and he should check the radiation level in survey meter. If your survey meter is showing 2 millirem, 2 millirem or 2 milliroentgen, then he is taking 2 millirem of dose every day, and he is exposed to 1 hour, then it is 2 millirem per hour daily. If he is exposed for 1 hour, then he is taking 2 millirem per hour. If he is exposed to half an hour, then he is taking 1 millirem per hour. Okay, this is what we have to calculate. We cannot say that if he is having 2 shoots, what is the radiation dose he has, because what are the shielding, how far he remains from the radiation activity. He doesn't go, we should not go into the radiation area while the source is out of the camera in case of gamma. And in X-ray, when the KV power is on, we should not go in the restricted area. Even when we are out of the restricted area, the survey meter should be used, and survey meter shows some reading. Say if survey meter is showing a reading of 1, 2, 3, whatever, 3 milliroentgen per hour. That means if the person remains at that location for 1 hour, he is going to get a dose rate of 3 millirem. 3 millirem. And if he takes it for 10 days, it will be 30 millirem. Every day, 3 millirem. So he will take 10 days, he will take 30 millirem. So he should keep this dose rate in control. Okay.
Okay.
100 to 200 rem when a person is exposed to, first day there are no symptoms, first week no symptoms, second week no symptoms. So these symptoms may come after some months also, and after some years also, and maybe in next generation also. So the effects are long term, short term, and very long, very large. That means in the next generation. Third week, what will happen when he has taken this dose for 3 weeks? First day, first week, second week, no problem. He is good. In the third week, loss of appetite. He will not eat properly. Malaise, sore throat, and diarrhea. These things will appear. In fourth week, recovery is likely in few months unless complications develop because of poor health. He has to be out of the radiography area for few months then and take proper medications. 400 to 500 rem if somebody takes first day, vomiting, diarrhea. What starts in third week starts at first day. Symptoms may continue. Second week, loss of appetite again. Third week, blood hemorrhage, nose bleeding, inflation of mouth, throat, diarrhea, anemic, and so on. Radiation detectors. You see here you have shown one radiation detector. This is radiation pin, this is radiation detector. And this is small one is TLD batch. This is a sealed element. This element is being tested only by the person regulatory person, because he wants to know what is the amount of radiation the person is taking, and he want to protect the person from getting highly exposed. Survey meter is a meter for taking readings of nearby area of the radiation zone. TLD meters are the TLD batch, that is the small batch, pocket pen and other things are for taking the readings of the person and how much dose rate he is getting. This will be in milliroentgen per hour, and there it will be in rem or CWAT. Okay, audible alarm systems. Generally, alarms are there. If we get a higher amount of radiation, this alarm will blow like our fire alarm. Again, you have pocket dosimeter, that is thermoluminescent batch like this. These are called as pocket dosimeters. These are electronically charged pens. When you go and put it in the charger, that detects the amount of radiation this pen has received, and it will be either shown in a mechanical device, or nowadays it is a digital device. So immediately you will get a number over there, number value, that this is the amount of radiation you have taken. So this pen is not to be reset. Once you are into sight and you are using this pen, you don't reset this pen. You make it zero, start using for few days and note the readings every day. Once it goes beyond the allowed limit, you stop going to the site. This is TLD, or the thermoluminescent batch, that regulatory body gives us. This is also called as film batch, like this. Everything would be written, the name, person's name, ID and other things, and this will be sealed. You cannot break the seal. If seal is broken, your license to do radiography will be lost. So such signboards and other things are put so that you get a better understanding